Justice Society of America, number 7, written by Jeff Johns with art by Marco Santucci, Ivan Placencia, and Rob Lee. And where we had the first 6 issues of the series dealing with the idea of stopping Prodegaton from destroying the JSA of all time, Helena Wayne found herself in our present day, and because of her not being able to keep her mouth shut about Batman being her father and being killed in the future, her future was completely erased, leaving Helena Wayne Huntress stuck in our present, or going back to a place that she no longer belongs to. But the idea then, dealing with some big stuff, like the idea you have Batman with a daughter from the future. What are we going to play with? And instead, it's like, we're going to go and try to get all my members of the JSA of the future on board to be JSA members now. And I'm like, I feel almost like a hypocrite, because when we had that first issue with that crazy band of, of JSAers that, Helena and Power Girl were like the leaders of, I'm like, oh, this sucks. We went back in time. I want to deal with these people some more because it could be cool and crazy. And now that we're getting back to it, I'm like, I'm a fickle mushhead. I don't want to see this anymore because you have so much drama to deal with in the present day. Getting them on board, this feels like such out of step characterization for everybody. Because even Batman, here, like I said, he has a daughter from the future, doesn't know what that means or how it's going to interact with the rest of his family. But, oh no, baby, I'll help you get that Solomon Grundy's with the rest of the JSA for no reason whatsoever.
And in that, like you said, when she ends up telling things, the future kind of changes. It gets kind of done, which I never thought of it until I ended up reading this issue where I'm like, okay, because again, when you have a delay that seems like, I don't know, 5 years, you end up, what happened before, kind of get into play, what's the lay of the land? Then you realize, well, there's not much lay of the land, but okay, it's really going through Helena. And I thought, wait a second here. Is Helena like the evil genius? And not even evil, is the idea of, my future sucks. I'm not supposed to tell people about the future because that will erase it or at least change it. Fuck it. There's nothing good in that future. So she just throws it out there. And that is something that might actually save a lot of people's lives in the long run, or at least allow her to maybe try to fix it, whatnot.
Was her future really that bad, though? It's just Batman was dead, and like, oh, I wish my daddy didn't die.
Well, your dad's dead. Would you change that? Listen to you.
No.
You used to go give the flowers and stuff, right? You got that?
Yeah.
I don't know. And everybody else being dead, it was bad. I mean, there's a lot of things that went down in that deal. So maybe this is the way that it kind of is, that wink, wink, that it does get to be changed. But in that, you also have the lost children involved. And in this issue, after that delay, I don't know. I think that maybe this issue would have been more exciting. I don't know, not exciting, but I think I would have been more into it if there wasn't the delays, if there wasn't some things, because there are some cool things happening. But coming back to this, and like you said, it's kind of just, hey, Daddy, can we go get the Solomon Grundy? Oh, yeah, we can, baby girl.
But before we do that, here's a little cold open to show you the Harley Quinn, the future member of the JSA, and how he's going about and stopping people from hurting other people by tattooing clown marks on his face. I'm like, all right, we'll start with the Harley Quinn, and then we just move on until here's a big old hunt for Solomon Grundy and Slaughter Swamp, where you do get Salem the Witch Girl, which is great because it's a breakout character in our minds from the Stargirl, The Lost Children. And I feel almost bad, too, because for the last 2 to 3 weeks, I feel like I've done nothing else but say, you know what we need to do? We need to kill the Solomon Grundy. He's getting a little too friendly with everybody. Everybody's a little too used to him at this point in time. He showed up everywhere to sit around being everybody's pal. We should kill him so he's resurrected as the monster that we should truly fear once again. And then trying to wrangle his ass in, Salem's curses do a bad job of trying to bring out the Cyrus Gold in him and just incinerate him to death.
Sometimes dead is better. Eric,
not this time.
At this point, well, he was dead, then you're trying to make him not dead. So it kind of, the whole play then, I'm like, what is he? A damn candy man? I'm waiting to see, in his ribcage, a bunch of honey and shit, Eric. I was getting excited. The art's really good. But in that, she is trying to fit in. She's trying to do these things. She means well.
Even working with Khalid Nassour's Dr. Fate, even though it's not working out because it's not Kent Nelson Dr. Fate. And that's the problem with this, because you want to explore the Lost Children, show Salem the Witch Girl, and why she should be a part of the DC universe and why people should care about her. But right now we're in this rough spot because she is a fish out of water where everything she knew and loved and she was a part of is all gone. She has to jump in fresh, and knowing that people forgot about her, left her behind. And even if when Khalid at this point tries to take her back to her home dimension of Limbo Town, she will not go back because of what they did to her there and forcing her out. So she is just between a rock and a hard place where she has to come off with an attitude because of how damaged she is with her current situation. So I know you need to do this, but you'll have people that's coming out of nowhere saying that she's a bitch. I'm like, you have no empathy at all.
Yeah, well, they would say that.
Talk about you.
But even then, no, the problem is with that is, and not a problem. I'll just spoil it. I like the Jay Garrick Flash book because of boom, the boom, and Judy.
Oh, yeah.
But you see that difference. Judy, she's
got a family.
She's got a family, but she's also in that mode of almost like, what is this, horseless cow? Like, she's having fun. Oh, my God, tell me more about these malls. Like, stuff like that. And even being allowed to kind of, hey, just be a girl, Jay's protective. So I like that we did these together because it is one of the few times where you get a character like this and almost plays off a bit like, even like what we said about Wallace West. Right. We wanted to know what was happening with him when he realizes, oh my God, I didn't exist before this. Well, now you have this girl who comes back and realizes that everybody forgot her, and not everybody's going to like that. And when we have some of these things, everybody kind of is like, you want to have that fun and, the golden age. All right, hey, we're going to be heroes and whatnot. But when she comes back, she feels like she's been real ripped off. She doesn't have Kent to come back to talk to, and almost feels like that play, like it should have been in the will to will me the stuff, but since I was forgotten, I'm there. But she's trying desperately to convince people, even like Cleve, like I was supposed to be the next deal. Well, Kent's not here. He's kind of a dick. I said just as a joke, man, that Salem or her sweeps are real bitches. But the thing is, I think Cleve's being a real asshole. He's not really.
Cleve's been put in a tough situation as well.
He has, but again, it works. He's like kind of like, well, I got to deal with her. I'll just do this. I'll take her home.
That being said, as much as I like Salem the Witch Girl, I want to see her flourish at DC Comics. I feel like I know Khalid Nassour a little bit more than this girl that I just watched burn Solomon Grundy to death. So at this point, I'm going to put my faith in Khalid.
But again, I did remember seeing Khalid fly a plane right into a hospital. Eric, when you first get your powers, I'm telling you, we both thought that back in his series, and that was the DCYOU. He legitimately couldn't control those powers, didn't know what was going, and a plane flew into what seemed to be like a children's hospital. Now, I want to make it more, worse. It's a children's hospital. But in this, it's not like you have Solomon Grundy there and Salem says, I'm going to get rid of him. Oh, my God. She thinks that how she could deal with this is by giving him life so they can reason with him because he is just the brute Solomon Grundy here. It doesn't work that way. And
it's such a weird idea, too, because with her powers being this, this girl from Limbo Town, this witch girl, and it seems like her power base is based exclusively off curses and stuff along those lines. So when she's trying to bring out the Cyrus Gold in him so they can have a reasonable conversation, and it just incinerates him, it's almost along the lines of like what we have with the Jakeem Thunder back in the day, where he has to make a very specific wish, or Thunderbolt might construe it a different way, like a monkey paw situation. But I don't know how you take that with because like, I'm going to bring his inner child. Oh my God, he's on fire. That's not a monkey paw. That's setting something on fire mistakenly. How does that work?
That's bringing back somebody who's dead for that long and setting him on fire. Yeah, exactly. And the way that the monkey paw goes, you can almost think like she's got to think in her mind, like a monkey paw, I got to be specific. But since it's a curse, she has to twist it around to a way to do some crazy thing that it works in a good way.
I look forward to see how it works going forward because it is interesting, but I need to know how she controls this and how Kent Nelson thought back in the day, like, yeah, this is a viable sidekick for me when things are going to constantly be set on fire when she's trying to do good. Or worse.
Is that I think she might also be upset because I don't know, in the delay, it looks like she aged 10 years, but still, you end up with going it. Maybe we find out because that's the cool little bit that you just brought up. Kent's not around, right? So when you end up where he could legitimately come back and say, what the hell's going on? That's my enemy. Or I told her that she couldn't do this and I tried to lock her away. We might find out or the idea that he says to Khalid, listen, she's bad news.
Is she Syndrome from The Incredibles?
I'm saying she could just imagine Syndrome coming to a place where Mr. Incredible isn't there and can lie and say things. But also it could have been Kent, because we'll have things like this as well where, oh my God, she's so out of control. Almost like a Damian with Batman. When Damian came to live with Batman at first, I need to help her because she's so ridiculously out of control, overpowered, doesn't know what to do. So I have to mentor her, or it'll be a bad thing. Almost like when Jason Todd with the All Cast and all that, where they even said that. I'd rather teach him than let him out in the world on his own like that. Maybe we find out something like that, which would be interesting. And maybe you can say with that, because I like Salem, maybe she's thinking things a little differently the way it's going, because she doesn't seem bad. But you don't want her, like, if you ended up having the next
play. It's a bit upset, though. You don't want that.
I'm saying with the whole thing, even with Solomon Grundy, like, I could just imagine where somebody else has a problem, like, oh, I need somebody to help me, and Salem, I'll help. No. I don't need your help. Like, nobody wants that. But we have to find out what happened to her, because you have Clete say, I'm just going to send you back to Limbo Town. I'm going to send you back to there. And she's like, you don't know what they did to me. Obviously, she says, and it's a good line. You don't know what they did to me. And Clete says, of course I don't. You won't tell me crap. How could I know? But that's the play there, where Clete, might be doing it the wrong way, but she's not. She's a little bit of a bitch. I said, I love her. I think she's great. But you see, and to throw it all out there, there's also a prophecy that she's like the end of the world type deal. So that throws things out of whack too.
People get that.
Yeah. So in that, though, you have all this play going on, and you do have, again, a recruitment deal. You have some things, Icicle.
I'm telling you, this idea of this team that I wanted to see as a fully fledged team in the future, this recruitment actually bogs the issue down in my mind. We wanted to get Solomon Grundy because he's a part of the team in the future. Oh, no, he's set on fire. Well, there's always going to be a resurrection, so we can get back to that later. Hopefully he won't become the monster that I wanted him to be for the last couple of weeks. And I was like, all right, we're going to get Icicle Jr. You remember that time in the mid-2000s when he helped us save the world? Thankfully, as far as I can recall, nobody's used Icicle Jr. this entire time, so he's just been sitting in jail and, I want to be a hero again. Break me out. I don't know if we can trust Icicle Jr. for the get-go, but you have this part too, and then it's like, all right, let's find out what's going on with Beth Chapel and the new Wildcat. And I'm like, who's been taken over by Eclipso, who's hunting Amanda Waller. So we have to go to Adam's, ex-wife Jean Loring, and find out what she knows about Eclipso so we can hunt Eclipso down. I'm like, I feel like you are not focusing on the most important parts of this book, since you're including this, roster drive that you're doing for the next generation of the JSA. On top of the idea that we have the Lazarus planet, like the Lazarus rain that came down that supposedly resurrected, Wildcat and Dr. Midnight from death, and there's some repercussions that we don't fully understand it. There's a lot going on right now.
There is a lot going on.
And then you bring in Amanda Waller being hunted by Eclipso-infused, a Wildcat. I'm like, I don't know if you're doing all this, because this is the 7th issue right now. We got to pick up the pace.
And if my math's right, we have 5 left there. And that's one of the things, too. Here's 2 of the things that are weird about this series.
And that's not all we have to deal with still.
But having all that stuff, adding the Lost Children, when we really hadn't felt like we actually had the story even started, I think that this, in my mind, starts to feel like, okay, we're getting somewhere, but it's a slow, but we just had a delay. So we have that. So that's there. Then you add Amanda Waller in, and everything's coming up Amanda Waller, but this seems like it's always a little bit askew with what's going on, including, say, a Power Girl in this, as opposed to the PG stuff that we get in the other.
Right.
So when all this is going on, I just think that this, I don't know, because then you have, in my mind, as I'm reading it, I'm also worried because Geoff Johns is not going to be able to continue after this is done, because he started his own imprint at Image, and he's got a bunch of people in there exclusive, and
he's got to hit the old dusty trail.
Exactly. So what are we doing here? And this book, it interests me, but not enough yet. But yet we're still 7 issues in. But we have 5 left. There's such a pull back and forth. It's like a tug of war. But then at the end, I think, should I invest in Karen? Is this going to be able to be something without him there and what's going on? Because when we get to the next book, because there's not much to talk about here, just because of the idea that it's a recruitment drive in the middle of a series. It's odd, but when we get to the Jay Garrett stuff, that may do nothing if all this, but I like it. There's, I just, in here, there's things that are intriguing, but I don't know that I care. And then there's things that are neat, but what is it going to do? So
again, like we talk about the idea of 5 issues left, and on top of the recruitment drive for a JSA that everybody's just taking on faith from this girl from the future that you haven't really vetted as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, she helped you save from Perdegaton previously and saved all the JSA throughout time. That gives you some points, I'm guessing, but the idea that everybody's going to stop everything for the recruitment of villains for a JSA of the next generation, I'm like, that feels weird. And then when you throw on top of it this Eclipso hunting Amanda Waller, and then, with Salem the Witch Girl, having a problem with what's currently going on, Clete the Sword trying to deal with that, then given a vision by the helmet about, Grundy saying, save Grundy, only then to be, grabbed by the Legion of Substitute Heroes from the 31st century.
Yes.
And hey, we're going to need you, Queen Desor. I'm like,
it's
are you
too
biting
much,
off more
right?
than you can chew at this point? Because even when they say next issue, the hunt for the Red Lantern,
I figured
I'm like,
you love this.
Because I love the idea of that Red Lantern in the past and the future. I want to see where that whole thing goes.
It's the Alan Scott book.
Exactly. I need to see more of that. But when you bring in the Legion of Superheroes like, Z-Team, I'm like, what are you doing with the Legion of Substitute Heroes?
How dare you say that about Animal Lad?
Animal Lad, Rainbow Girl, and Stone Boy. I'm like, look, I know you're trying to do some fun stuff. And here I go again. The fun stuff. And the thing is, it could turn out great. We are dealing with some heavy stuff right now, though, that I want to make sure that's done. And if we spread ourselves too thin, I'm always afraid, almost like what we did with Jeff Johns' Shazam run, where you throw a million things in that story and nothing felt like it was resolved properly because we had to deal with too much.
Yeah, I actually desperately was trying to get the hot take button, Eric. Just pretend it's playing now because you nailed it here. And where I was saying the idea of, I don't know if this is going to continue, to top off that, you're adding way too much, and now it's starting to feel, and I think that we said it when this was going on. It was delayed, and you had some things, and the idea was there would be something after this. Yes, it's 12-issue maxi series, but it's
doing something.
This does still feel like, to me, that this is just a prelude to what is going to come next, and there might not be a next, so all you're getting is a prelude. And that shouldn't affect the issue-to-issue, score. And maybe it will, maybe it won't. But when I'm just here in the lay of the land, this is just, let's get some things out there. You have some cool little shout-outs, callbacks that I think that you would like a little more because you're more of a JSA guy anyway. But even so, you want a story. You don't need them like, hey, we're going to interview, her. We're going to do this. We're going to get Solomon Grundy. You don't really get anything at the end, but some of it's
got to go visit Icicle Jr. in jail. He says, okay, cool.
He said, okay. And then you go on. I mean, the whole thing then is like, then you go and just the way you go from that to Salem flipping out. Then you go and see Wildcat there on the top, of a gargoyle type, the old type of building. Then you go off to Gene. Then you go, and it's just like, okay, I get it. And again, maybe it's because it's been a while since the last issue that when you do go back to it, you're kind of then reminded, this book isn't going forward enough. It looks great. I think it's some cool stuff, but it's not giving me, the big punch that I thought it would. And then I start thinking again, this is like, and it's funny that you get the Legion of Substitute Heroes at the end, because this book kind of goes in my mind of a discussion me and you would always have, and you would yell. Like, you don't yell much on the podcast. When we're off the air, you're yelling all the time.
How dare you?
This is something you yelled at one point, because I would say, oh man, everybody wants that Legion of Superheroes book.
Get out of town.
You start yelling at me. It's not mean, but you're like, nobody buys it.
5 of those people want it.
What you always say is, they yell for it, but they ain't buying it. But you told me that about the JSA at points too, though I
still believe it, even though you got an amazing team with the JSA.
So at the end, when I saw and it's the Legion of Substitute Heroes, which is kind of funny, but I get this play of where are we going now? What's happening? Who is by? Because the real play of this, if this is going to continue, I have said, and a bunch of people have said, maybe Venditti can end up continuing. I think he has chops to do it, but
I can see that.
Is it going to sell well enough because of the delays and what it is and what it isn't? Is it going to sell enough for them to say we need to continue it? And I don't think so. I think that we're going to get all excited for this, and it might build to something that hopefully down the line somebody picks up. But I don't think it's going to continue much.
Well, even if we continue the idea of what we're doing in the series so far, like the idea that we do have this recruitment drive of these villains that will one day supposedly be a part of the JSA of the future. I know it's a kooky team, and I got all interested in them in the first issue, and then when you can see them, I got upset. Oh man, I wanted to see that team. But would that team get people excited to sell for a JSA book if that's the direction that we took it?
And I was just going to say another thing. Remember when we were talking about Dawn of DC? And I said, oh, man, they're going to drib and drab books for a year. We're going to have to wait. Oh, this month we get a new number 1. Then the next month we get 2. And I said, man, you wouldn't get the bang for your buck. Like, the bang for your buck is, okay, September, boom, we have all these books. Everybody's excited. You go and grab Batman, but then you see a Doom Patrol, you grab that. Like, that's fun. And it's exciting. I don't know in the all-around marketing deal or the sales and numbers that it's better or worse, but it gets you that hype. You want to have the JSA book feels like one of those, oh man, you'll love the Dawn of DC, you'll never get the JSA. They have a book again. And then somebody would say like, all right, what is it about? Ooh, It's about kind of getting a new team that's not quite like you don't really have a JSA book yet. It's called the JSA, but it's not really that yet. It's a bunch of people trying to get things together. You're kind of getting the things, so you aren't getting that oomph of it.
Well, even one of our main characters in this with Khalid Nassour, he's a newer Dr. Fate. He's not Kent Nelson, and he's a bit of a stretch too because people don't know him as well. So it's like, here's somebody else we're focusing on that's a part of the JSA of this, new JSA that we're dealing with, but he's not like, one of the JSA.
Yeah, and you say about Khalid, and I made the joke earlier for you, something we brought up about him flying a plane right into a hospital. I don't know that anybody even read that. So and that's not that long ago, but just to let you know.
2015, wasn't it?
Yeah, about 2015, right before the rebirth. So you end up where this week it dawned on me, and this is something me and you get in this like little cell of ours. I like to call the podcast there. Oh. We assume that people know a lot. I mean, I'm not saying like that sounds bad. I'm saying like they know that Levi is the new Swamp Thing. Like we assume that.
I hope so.
A lot of people this week, they found out this week because they weren't reading the Ram v. Swamp Thing. And then all of a sudden when he shows up in another book, at least they're showing it, but they don't know what it's about. People reacted this week of, oh man, what are they doing? Race swamping Swamp Thing? I'm like, really? Like,
now it's set up.
2019 or whatever called. I don't know when that Swamp Thing started in the big, but that's been a bit now. So it's crazy. But yeah, people had said that. I saw some tweets and stuff, but he's been around. And he's pretty much the Swamp Thing now. So it's weird. And Khalid, I'm sure some people were just like, who's that? It's weird. But yeah, I'm with you, though. People, it's not the JSA that's going to wow people. And then if you say, but this issue, the Legion of Substitute Heroes shows up, they're like, all right, I'm out. Could be funny. They're like, they're almost in. And you say that, they're like, oh, they're still doing bullshit then? All right, I'm out. But
and again, hopefully the Legion showing up like this, taking on Khalid for whatever is happening in the future hopefully it's interesting. But right now it just feels like a weird diversion to what we're currently dealing with that I do have interest in that I don't want to see spread too thin so I don't get a satisfactory conclusion.
Well, they're going to go to the 31st century. Maybe it's his kids that did something wrong.
They grew up to be assholes or something?
Yeah, they grew up to be assholes. So in that too, the funny play.
Cloud maker.
Just at the end, you son of a bitch. At the end of this, where you have the Legion of Substitute Heroes, you have Khalid Nassour, the Dr. Fate, and then you also have a shout out to the Alan Scott book that everybody hates. So that last page is so wacky, but I'm intrigued and I want to see what happens. And it might be one of those cool plays, even though the delays. It'd be weird if this wasn't delayed to then show this Red Lantern months ago to then get, you know what I mean? It may work out this way.
I got you.
Yeah, it may work out this way a lot better, and maybe we'll get little hints and it'll work out. I don't know how, but it may. But yeah,
but imagine if this isn't delayed going forward, though, and we end up getting more information about the Red Lantern here than we actually do in the Alan Scott book. That would just be disappointing. Then all of a sudden we get to
the Alan Scott book, and then it'd be like, oh shit, we already know all about it. You know what I mean? Maybe that is the play. A lot of times with Jeff Johns stuff, the delays are usually his, not the art. Art is just, it takes, hey, I need more time. It seems like Jeff Johns is always changing shit. So this delay for this issue or next might actually be like, oh my God, we came up with a cool thing with this Red Lantern. Let me change this. Let me go there. And that's cool if that's the case. To get that synergy, it just sucks with the delays. It just really does. But what would you give them?
I think the art in this book is incredible, but the thing with the story is there's a lot of things that are intriguing to me that I look forward to going ahead. But when you start out with the idea of here's some characters that we showed you a little bit in the first issue, and now it just feels like such a weird character divergence for what we're dealing with to get these people to where they need to be for the future presently. And I don't know if that's the way that I wanted to see this, so I come ahead. That's a future thing that we can deal with. Right now, we have so much on the table that it just feels like a weird distraction almost, and it's not as interesting everything else that's going on, which really brings my score down to a 6.9 out of 10, especially the Legion of Substitute Heroes. And again, hopefully it's cool as we go forward in the series.
I'm a 6.5.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.